what is the preferred length of essays, and also should you go all the way up to the character limit?
So when I was writing my essays for SSM last year, personally, I found that my essays were just about at the character limit, sometimes a little bit over, so I had to go back and cut it down. Um, I'm not entirely sure if they necessarily value longer essays more than shorter essays. I think it's more about the quality of the essay that you write. Um, you can have a long essay that reaches the character limit that really doesn't tell them anything about yourself, or you can have a relatively shorter essay that is really out of the park. So I know this is like the standard answer that everybody gets in terms of like uh, essay length and stuff, but really, rather than focusing on the length, I would focus on the quality of your essay. Does it really do a good job of describing who you are? I mean, I guess it depends on the question, but does it do a good job of answering the question to your fullest extent? And then the length of the essay will come by itself at that point. That's my feedback.
I definitely agree with Shashank, and I was talking to some other of my classmates, and it's a lot of quality over quantity, and you're going to hear that a lot. But you want to be able to add that personal touch because admissions is going to be reading hundreds and hundreds of essays. You want to make yours stand out by adding that personal touch and making it sound like you. And like he said, the length will come as you go and go over like do a reiterative writing process. So like write it again and like then do a draft, like do a different draft of it, edit it, and like go over it again. Your first draft is not going to be perfect, like anything is. So going over it again and over and over again will help and make it sound like you. Avoid general statements and stuff like that. Like you're gonna have some of them in there, but make it sound like you. That's my best advice for the essay.
Or are there any places where, if you could go back, you would go back and change? And I think, Michael, you can kind of elaborate on this a little more.
So one thing I would emphasize, and I know for students this year, it's kind of too late, but if you're in ninth grade or middle school right now, uh, don't start on your application really late. It's not just because it gives you less time, but there's also some things that you might just forget to put down on your application. Like I know um, I did like research with a Duke professor in ninth grade, and I just completely forgot to put that on my application. And I feel like that would have been a good thing that NCSM would have liked. So try to start on your application as soon as possible. You don't have to be working on it tons every day, but just a little bit each day, and just add things to it as you think of it. And another good thing is um, don't use your essays to just brag about your achievements more. I think it'd be better to use your essays. I know the other panelists have said this too. Use your essays to talk about yourself, the type of student you are. I made the mistake of just writing about some of my proudest achievements more in my essays. I think that definitely did not help my application.
And I think the one important thing, kind of going off of what Michael said, was reflect in your essays. If, for me, one thing that I am really, really passionate about is my research. And, I've gone, pretty far in research competitions and, I might have won some awards through that, but that's not what I talked about in my essay because they can see all of the awards that I earned on my awards page. What I talked about was all of the skills that I gained from researching and, how it's helped me, become a more intellectually curious person. And, it's, I really reflected on, my own journey through research and how it has helped me grow as a person. You want to use those. I think what really helps is thinking of each of your essays as an opportunity to reflect on some of the things that they already know about you so that they can learn, more about who you are.
Another thing I'd like to add to that is, um, like, yeah, so like she said, your essays are a big self-reflection point, and what I kind of focused on in my essay was how do the different things that I learned through each of my extracurriculars or each of my classes or whatever I'm doing, how can I relate them to each other and form a better image about myself and my character, right? Because there's always going to be certain things that you can pull from the different experiences that you've done as a 10th grader, um, in order to either help out other things that you're doing or just make yourself a better person. And so really reflect on those types of things that you're learning or you are training. Maybe it's like leadership roles or community service or just general like academic prowess that you are, like boosting through your different activities. Explain how they may be relating to each other